Chapter 1: The Magical Recipe. In the quiet, picturesque town of Sweetville, where candy cane lamp posts lined the streets and the air always smelled faintly of chocolate, there lived a little girl named Lily. Lily was 7 years old and loved two things more than anything in the world: her family's ice cream shop and magical adventures. Little did she know, both were about to collide in the most unexpected way. The Sweetville ice cream parlor had been in Lily's family for generations. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Frost, were known for making the most delicious and unique ice cream flavors. From bubblegum blast to rainbow swirl, there was no flavor too wild or whimsical for them to create. But business had been slow lately, and the Frosts were worried they might have to close the shop. One sunny afternoon, while exploring the attic, Lily stumbled upon an old, dusty book tucked away in a forgotten corner. It was titled The Ultimate Ice Cream Recipe Book. Her heart raced as she flipped through the yellowed pages filled with ancient, handwritten recipes. One recipe, in particular, caught her eye: the gigantic ice cream cone. The instructions were elaborate, and the ingredients were unlike any Lily had ever seen. Curiosity and excitement bubbling inside her, Lily raced downstairs to show her parents the book. Mr. Frost adjusted his glasses and read the recipe aloud. "A single scoop from this cone will bring joy to anyone who tastes it. But to create it, one must gather ingredients from the four corners of the magical Sweetland." Mrs. Frost smiled at Lily. "It sounds like quite an adventure. But where will we find these magical ingredients?" Lily beamed with determination. "We'll find them, Mom. We just have to believe." Chapter 2: The Quest begins. With a sense of adventure in their hearts, the Frost family decided to embark on a journey to gather the magical ingredients. Mr. Frost closed the shop, leaving a sign on the door that read, "Gone to find the magic in ice cream. Back soon." The townsfolk, curious and supportive, wished them luck as they set off. The first ingredient on the list was stardust sugar. According to the book, it could only be found in the Enchanted Forest, a place full of twinkling lights and mysterious creatures. The Frost family packed their bags and headed toward the forest, following the ancient map from the recipe book. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the trees began to shimmer, and the air was filled with a sweet, otherworldly fragrance. Suddenly, a tiny fairy named Sparkle appeared, her wings glistening like diamonds. "Welcome to the Enchanted Forest. What brings you here?" she asked in a tinkling voice. Lily explained their quest for the stardust sugar. Sparkle smiled and led them to a clearing where a magnificent tree stood, its leaves sparkling like stars. "This is the stardust tree. You may gather the sugar from its blossoms, but be gentle. The tree is very old and wise." Carefully, the Frosts collected the shimmering sugar, thanking Sparkle for her help. With the first ingredient secured, they returned home, their spirits high. Chapter 3: The Crystal Caves. The next ingredient was crystal cream, which, according to the book, was hidden deep within the crystal caves of Gelato Gorge. The Frosts packed up their gear once again and set off for the caves, navigating through rocky paths and steep cliffs. At the entrance of the crystal caves, they were met by a grumpy troll named Grizzle. "Who dares to enter my domain?" he growled. Lily, though a little frightened, stepped forward bravely. "We're here to find the crystal cream. Can you help us?" Grizzle's expression softened as he saw the determination in Lily's eyes. "Very well. But you must solve a riddle first." He recited the riddle: "I'm not alive, but I can grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air." "What am I?" Lily thought hard and then smiled. "A crystal," she exclaimed. Grizzle nodded and allowed them to pass. Inside the caves, the walls glittered with countless crystals. The Frosts carefully followed the map's directions until they reached a chamber filled with glowing blue crystals. At the center was a pool of thick, creamy liquid, the crystal cream. They filled their containers with the precious cream, thanking Grizzle as they left. 2 ingredients down, and their excitement grew. Chapter 4: The Rainbow River. The third ingredient, rainbow ripple syrup, could be found at the end of the Rainbow River, which flowed through the heart of Sweetland. The Frosts set off once more, this time in a small, sturdy boat. The Rainbow River was a breathtaking sight. The water shimmered in all the colors of the rainbow, and the banks were lined with candy-colored flowers. As they rode along, they encountered playful river sprites who danced on the water's surface. One sprite, named Raina, offered to guide them. The rainbow ripple syrup flows from a hidden spring at the river's end, she explained. With Raina's help, they navigated the twists and turns of the river until they reached a secluded grotto. There, they found the spring, its water cascading in a beautiful spectrum of colors. The syrup pooled in a basin made of crystal, and the Frosts carefully collected it. Raina waved them goodbye as they made their way back, their hearts full of joy. Chapter 5, The Frosty Mountain. The final ingredient was the most challenging, frost flower petals, which only bloomed on the peak of Frosty Mountain. The Frosts knew this would be their toughest journey yet, but they were determined to succeed. Climbing the icy slopes of Frosty Mountain was arduous. The wind howled, and snow swirled around them, but they pressed on, encouraging each other every step of the way. Halfway up the mountain, they met an old hermit named Frostbite, who lived in a cozy ice hut. Frostbite welcomed them in, offering warmth and hot cocoa. When he heard about their quest, he nodded. The frost flowers are rare and delicate. They bloom only under the light of the full moon. The Frosts decided to rest and wait for nightfall. As the full moon rose, they ventured out with Frostbite's guidance. The peak of the mountain was illuminated by moonlight, revealing a field of delicate, glowing flowers. Lily gently picked the petals, careful not to harm the flowers. With the final ingredient in hand, they thanked Frostbite and made their way back down the mountain. Chapter 6, The Festival of Flavors. To celebrate their success, the Frosts decided to host a festival of flavors in Sweetville. The streets were decorated with colorful banners, and the air was filled with the aroma of delicious treats. The highlight of the festival was the gigantic ice cream cone, but there were also many other delightful flavors to enjoy. Children played games, musicians performed cheerful tunes, and everyone indulged in the most incredible ice cream they had ever tasted. The festival became an annual event, bringing joy and excitement to Sweetville year after year. Lily stood proudly beside her parents, watching the festivities. She knew that their adventure had brought magic back into their lives and into the heart of their town. The Sweetville Ice Cream Parlor became a symbol of creativity, community, and the belief that anything is possible with a little bit of magic. Epilogue: A legacy of magic years passed, and Lily grew up to take over the family business. She continued to create new and wondrous ice cream flavors, always remembering the adventure that had changed their lives. The gigantic ice cream cone remained a beloved legend, inspiring others to pursue their dreams and believe in magic. The story of the Frost family's magical journey was told and retold, becoming a cherished part of Sweetville's history. And every time someone enjoyed a scoop of ice cream from the Sweetville Ice Cream Parlor, they were reminded that a little bit of magic can make